In this video, I'll show you 7 essential Claude skills for business owners. Me, myself, I run a business and I've tested thousands of different Claude skills, and here are the 7 that I found the most useful. So let's jump right in. So what are skills and why are they important? In order to understand this, we need to first understand what LLMs are and their characteristics. So LLMs stand for large language models, and you could think about it as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. These are all large language models. And they all share a common characteristic called non-deterministic. And this means that despite having the exact same input prompt, the outputs can differ every single time. Now this makes things unpredictable and inefficient, so especially if you're doing tasks over and over and over, you'd want a repeatable behavior. And that's exactly why we create Claude skills, to get predictable and repeatable behavior. Now the best practice in general is that any prompt or task you expect to repeat more than once should be turned into a skill. That way you save time and you get a common procedure, an SOP. Now moving on, where can you actually find skills and where do you actually add them? So this right here is a screenshot of Claude's interface in the settings. And as you can see down here, you'll see the button Skills under Customize. You want to click this, and then on the top right, you'll see something like this. These are 3 options of how you can add skills. One is to directly chat with Claude and bounce ideas back and forth. And the second is to physically write your own skill instructions. And third is to upload skills. Now the upload skill is probably what you'll do at the end of this video once I give you all the access to the different skills that I'm talking about here. Now before we actually dive into the 7, I think it's very important to go over the foundation skills. So I'm going to name 2 of them, and these are kind of the backbone of all the skills that we're going to talk about and build upon later. So foundation skill number 1 is called Find Skills. Now this skill essentially searches for existing skills that match what you need, and it answers the general question of, is there a skill for X? Right? So it surfaces and installs matching skills and avoids rebuilding what already exists. So make sure you download this skill. It's also mentioned in the description below. Now foundation skill number 2 is called Skill Creator, and this turns a repeated task into a reusable skill. So there's no need to write the files by hand every single time, and ensures the correct format and structure so that Claude can reliably reuse them every single time. So make sure you download these 2 skills first and foremost, and then let's dive into the 7. Alright, so the first 2 skills that I want to talk about have to do with software and coding. So if that's not something that's relevant to you, please skip over to skill number 3. But if it's something of interest, then please listen along. Number 1 is Karpathy Guidelines. Andre Karpathy is a co-founder of OpenAI, and he's also a lead AI researcher at Anthropic, which is a company that created Claude and is also the direct rival of OpenAI. So it's a very interesting dynamic there. But essentially, when you want to use a skill is at all times when you're coding, because it allows Claude to think in a very structuralized manner, and it breaks it into 4 key things. First is think before coding. Second is simplicity first. Third is surgical changes. And fourth is goal-driven execution. Now moving on to skill number 2, it is called GStack, and this skill was created by Gary Tan, who's the founder of Y Combinator, which is a startup incubator. It's very popular, very famous right now. All the vibe coders in the world are talking about it, right? So the reason why this skill is so popular is because it covers the entire software lifecycle. So the plan, the building stage, the review stage, the QA, the security, the shipping, like it covers the entire job, right? And AI makes it incredibly cheap overall to get this done, and that's why this skill was created. Now moving on is skill number 3. It's called Banana Pro Director. It's essentially a skill that builds on top of Nano Banana Pro, and I use it for thumbnails, ad creatives, product images. Other people use it for social graphics and batch image generation as well. But essentially it like levels up the output of Nano Banana Pro and makes things even more consistent. So a good example would be that it could create an entire visual pipeline. Like think about like a campaign where every image that it generates is within the same atmosphere, within the same background, so that it looks like everything was taken in that specific spot. Now this is very important for businesses who want to show that the product images don't actually look AI, they look very realistic. You want to have consistency across all these images. That's exactly what this helps you do. And moving on is skill number 4. It's called Superpowers. Now this skill should always be on, right? Because it governs which skill fires for any task, and it automatically decides what skill is important, what skill is not important based on the prompt that you input. So you don't even have to ask it to use a skill. It'll just do it for you. That's why it's called Superpowers, but it's really great, so you should install it. So skill number 5 is called Front End Design, and it's by Anthropic. And you should be using this skill anytime you're creating a landing page, a website, a web app, anything to do with UI, UX. It's a must because Claude in and of itself is very bad at design, relatively speaking, compared to all the other things it can do. So adding skills on top of it actually improves the output significantly than not even having a single skill like this. So this is a must download. Now number 6 is learn. Now this is something that I've been using a lot on my own time, is learning complex things about AI, like even on a deeper level, like neural networks and AI automations. Like how do you actually understand like how these things work? I use the learn skill. Essentially, it turns Claude into a world-class tutor on demand, and it breaks down like any concept, no matter how complex, until it like actually makes sense to you. So it's very, 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 very good skill. So skill number 7 is called Blader Humanizer, and this is a great skill because any output that Claude gives you will now actually sound like a human instead of sounding like AI. Like you know how AI has a certain tone to a certain burstiness, perplexity, all these things. It actually completely gets rid of that, so it sounds exactly like a human. And a lot of people have even said that they use it on their university assignments and it passed the AI test. So yeah, quite useful. But yeah, when you should use it is for copywriting, emails, scripts, etc. Wherever you don't want to sound like AI, but you want to cut a lot of time on, this is very, very crucial. Great, so that sums up the 7 essential Claude skills for business owners. I've attached all the skills in the description, so please make sure to check it out. Download it, it'll be very easy for you guys. And also, feel free to comment your favorite skill in the comments so that I can check them out, I can test them out myself. And yeah, that'd be very appreciated. So thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.